Hello and welcome to How to Play Knock Rummy,
presented by GatherTogetherGames.com.
This video will cover how to play the card game Knock Rummy. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay and then get into more of the details for the game. The game is played with 2 to 6 players. To play, you will need a 52 card deck. The number of cards dealt to each player depends on how many players are in the game. For this 4-player game, each player is dealt 7 cards. The remaining deck is placed into the middle and the top card is flipped up to form the discard pile. The object of the game is to score points. Points are scored by having the lowest amount of unmatched cards at the end of the round. The goal during the round is to form sets in your hand. A set can be a group of 3 or 4 cards in the same rank, or a sequence of 3 or more cards in the same suit. The cards are ranked with the kings being the highest down to the aces being the lowest.
Going back to the hand that was dealt earlier, I have flipped up each player's cards for you to see. In an actual game, you will keep your cards hidden from the other players.
The player left of the dealer is first to play. A turn starts by drawing the top card of the discard pile or the top card of the draw deck. Player 2 draws the top card of the deck. After drawing, the player will choose a card to discard. Player 2 discards to the discard pile to end their turn. Play moves left to player 3. Player 3 will draw the top discard. This gives player 3 a sequence with the 7, 8, and 9 of diamonds. Player 3 will discard to end their turn. Play moves to player 4. Player 4 will draw the top card from the deck and selects one card to discard to end the turn. Play moves to player 1. Player 1 takes their turn by drawing and discarding. Play moves back to player 2. At any point during the round, a player can choose to end the round by knocking on their turn. Player 2 draws a card and decides to knock. After the player knocks, the knocking player will discard. Then all players will show their cards and separate them into matched and unmatched cards. All players will add up their unmatched cards. If the player that knocked has the lowest amount of unmatched cards, they will score points. Face cards are 10 points each. All other cards are face value. An ace is 1 point. Player 2 knocked and has unmatched cards worth 19 points. Player 3 had a matching sequence with unmatched cards worth 28 points. Player 4 had all unmatched cards worth 33 points. Player 1 had all unmatched cards worth 49 points. With the lowest amount of unmatched cards, player 2 will win the difference between each player. From player 3, 9 points. From player 4, 14 points. From player 1, 30 points. For a total of 53 points. When keeping score, the players that didn't win will lose the difference in points from the winner. The total of all the scores should always equal 0. The player with the most points after an agreed upon amount of deals wins the game. If a player has no unmatched cards after a knock, the player has rum. The player will score the amount of unmatched cards in all other players' hands plus a 25-point bonus from each player. If a player knocks but another player has a lower amount of unmatched cards, the player with the lower amount of unmatched cards wins the round. The player will score the difference between each other player, plus the player that knocked will pay an additional 10-point penalty. If a player knocks but 2 or more other players tie for the low amount of unmatched cards, the tying players will split the score. If a player knocks and ties another player for lowest unmatched cards, the non-knocking player wins the difference between the other players. The knocking player would not score any points or lose any points. If the draw deck runs out during play, flip the discard pile over to create a new draw deck. That wraps up how to play Knock Rummy.
If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and get more game tutorials by subscribing to our channel, Gather Together Games. Thanks for watching.